Thanks for staying with us on DD India. You're watching DD Dialogue, the show that decodes the news breaks and newsmakers. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and tonight on the show, viewers, now remember, post the spectacular success of Smart India Hackathon 2022, it has generated tremendous amount of hope and enthusiasm, specifically amongst young India. Honorable Prime Minister has called for making research, innovation a way of life. Addressing the finale of the Smart India Hackathon 2022, Prime Minister Modi said that innovators were the flag bearers of Jai Anusandhan, or research and innovation. It's a slogan he put forth also during his Independence Day speech as well. Now, launched in 2017, a bit of a backgrounder, Smart India Hackathon has actually come a very long way, emerging as a nationwide initiative to provide students a platform to offer out-of-the-box ideas to solve problems in governance. Now, Smart India Hackathon 2022 is being conducted in two formats. It just got concluded a few days ago, including the Smart India Hackathon Software Edition and Smart India Hackathon Hardware Edition for higher education students. In fact, since 2017, it is conducted at various nodal centers identified by the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell and All India Council of Technical Education, where selected bunch of student teams, industry representatives, design mentors and evaluators travel to the assigned physical centers. And during the grand finale, which concluded recently, as I just mentioned, the student teams worked round the clock under the guidance of mentors in industries and ministry representatives to produce the working solution for the selected problem statements. And on DD Dialogue, this special edition, we decode and understand the very vision and concept of Smart India Hackathon and how it is coming up in a big way in terms of integrating young India, that is future Bharat, the young India ecosystem and innovation, etc. by new templates, by scripting new templates, by newer versions of convergences and collaborations. On the show, in fact, we have a high-powered panel on DD Dialogue. Very glad to introduce our panelists today on the show. We are joined by Dr. Pratap Ravindra Sanup. Dr. Pratap Ravindra Sanup, he is the Principal Data Scientist, Larsen & Toubro Infotech Limited. He is joining us on the show, and somebody who has been associated with this initiative for the since its inception. We also take this opportunity to welcome Nitin Kumar Bhide. He's the CTO and co-founder of the D10X. He's going to do a lot of explaining the vision behind, namaste sir, behind the whole SIH concept. And also in our Delhi studio, very glad to have with us Shubhimal Bhattacharjee, cyber security and IT expert, joining us. Thank you so much, Shubhimal, for joining us and taking out time for this special show. I'm going to quickly start with Dr. Sanup. Now, let's go back to 2017 and share with us the insight as far as this entire progressive journey of 5 years is concerned and the way it culminated in this event, which concluded recently. The beginning, when the beginning was made, and the vision of Prime Minister, how it all started.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a wonderful opportunity for sharing the panel with Nitin ji and other experts on this dais. See, we all know that there is a tremendous talent we have in the young minds of India. And we know there are certain challenges also we are having in the departments where we need a digital solution. And the organizing team was always believing that technology can solve those problems. And why can't we bring those problems in front of young minds and see the solution that they provide, how that help us to take it to the India to the next level. We always say that developing countries are needing the technology solution, and India is a developing country. But the moment we got this young mind coming together and solving this problem, the journey in last 5 years has gone to the level where now I can proudly say that not only the developing, now we are a developed country, and now we are reaching out to the stage where we can compete to the big giants across globe in the innovation field. The vision and mission statement which our Prime Minister sir has given us to take India to the next level in innovation, make in India, digital India, along with AICTE as well as MIC under Ministry of Education's expertise. I think this is an amazing platform for every one of us to take these challenges, solve these challenges, and help each one of us. See, we know that there are challenges in our society, in our state, in our country, across globe. And these minds has got that potential who can take that on their heart and give a digital solutions, which are the need of the hour, right? This is how there's been progress. And with that note, everybody came together. There are a lot of people from industry are mentoring these kids to make sure that we give them a right solution for this particular problem statements have been provided. The journey started in 2017 where we have started this world with hackathon, which is really getting popular across the student community as well as the problem statement providers, be it a ministry or be it a private organization. I think
Okay.
this is a wonderful thing which is happening across around us as well.
And the whole revolutionizing talent, integrating youngsters with the governance or challenges, and when Prime Minister, in fact, Mr. Bhide, this is for you, when Prime Minister says, I'm bringing government to you. I mean, the way Prime Minister has actually connected, I mean, we've seen the kind of connect he has always shared with the younger generation. But then when we talk about innovation, artificial intelligence, science and technology, I mean, there is no gap now. It's the government and the youngsters.
It's actually more than that, I will say. It's not just government and youngsters, but it is the SIH is actually bringing together youngsters. They are bringing together mentors from the industry who are
Scientific
guiding
temperament.
those youngsters. Scientific temperament and practical advice, not just scientific temperament. It's bringing in organizations together, government ministries, companies like Maruti and L&T and Shell and AWS. All kinds of companies are coming together, giving their problems to students and asking them to think out of box. Something that maybe somebody with a 10-15 year of experience may not think of. Now, bringing government to students and to industry and asking them, look, we have this problem and we cannot solve it alone. It's something we have to come together and solve it. It's our problem, not just government's problem.
Yes.
I think that is the kind of thinking that SIH is bringing together. And it's amazing. To tell you, in 2017, I started in SIH as a team mentor.
Yes, sir.
And today I am working as a nodal center here. So it's giving a tremendous amount of different kind of opportunities. I am from industry and never really worked with government, but now I am participating in a government initiative as a nodal center here. That is another example of bringing government to us.
You know, we would love to, in fact, listen to some of the case studies, and if you could just share your insights, the whole journey and the interactive process and the students, the way they connected through this concept. But before that, I'm going to quickly take my opening remarks from Shubhimal also. This means a lot when it comes to, you know, our generation next and how India is going to look tomorrow, and India at the top.
Yeah, definitely. I think as Mr. Bhide has also mentioned, from 2017 onwards till today, you know, in the 5 editions, there has been, you know, a tremendous sense of accomplishment. You see, 7,500 students participated in the first edition, and this year it has been some 29,000 students. So this is amazing, and to use, you know, the point that you made, that this young minds, this whole inclusive approach of getting talents from across the country participate in solving the problems that has been laid out. This year 476 problem statements were laid out by the various government and industry experts. And to have these young minds, you know, who would have been remained as an isolated island away with an idea, with a, you know, culture of innovation, all of that, to bring them together into a national you know, database or a national kind of a structure where you are able to take things forward, and particularly these young minds who in 10 to 15 years, 20 years are going to be the key players in this country. Today, when they are trying to solve a problem that has been there for the country and out of the box thinking, we are actually shaping them, you know, to be you know, leaders in the usage of technology, in the idea of solving problems. So this is a much more motivational activity that the, you know, whole Smart India Hackathon has been doing.
Dr. Sanap, let's now experiences. Let's share, if you could just share some insights, some backstories. You've interacted with the students, basically the whole process, especially for those youngsters who are watching this show. What is it all about?
I think learn by doing is the basis of this particular engagement. We all know that every student go to school, you open a book and learn a lot of things. But then when it comes to practical experience, where you got to get with the team, get with the mentor, the industry experts, and learn by doing, which actually make them market ready. I mean, we know that the skill development programs are going all where, and now the India is talking about the skilled labor, right? So this is a platform which actually gives that flavor of how we can collaborate together, communicate together, compete together, and actually the competency level of each candidate is really going to the next level. That's the primary motto of this particular engagement. But if you look at the process that students are following these days, I think artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, these are the technology that every student has started talking about now. But along with that, the market requirements, the design thinking aspects, which are very critical for every product to have a better usage part of it. So this is where we are providing a platform, and they are taking most of the advantage of this kind of engagement. If you see the structure that we laid out in Smart India Hackathon, it comprises with design mentor, product mentors, which come across from various cities and actually meet the students in their centers and help them to take that product from one level to next level. Along with that, they kind of teach them what is the process that every industry follows while we build that product. That means the moment we get the student coming out of college, I think we can be 110% depending on them to start delivering to the digital platforms on the day one itself. Means the time to market is definitely going to be reduced. With that framework we should build on.
And that point, Mr. Bhire, there's a lot of emphasis by Honorable Prime Minister on innovation, and it's not only in the SIH platform that he has spoken about it. The fact that the way India is, the upward trajectory on the innovation index, though we have a long way, but in the last 6-7 years, the kind of turnaround we have seen, and connecting SIH with the entire innovation ecosystem.
If you see, a few days back, we were talking with Abhay Jere, Chief Innovation Officer of SIH in one of our SIH meeting, and he mentioned that almost 709 projects out of 5 SIH are now being productized. So they are not just concepts anymore, but they are actually getting converted into real life projects that ministries are using, that defense forces are using. One of the project mentioned was transmitting the information on radio waves for the communication with defense forces and making sure that it is encrypted. One of the project that I worked on in 2018 was for ISRO, for combining various satellite images at various points and comparing how, let's say, lighting or vegetation is changing over year on year. Now, these kind of things, some of the projects which were quoted at maybe crores of rupees for licensed software were done by SIH student in less than 10 lakh rupees.
Oh, okay.
If you see, that is the crazy kind of difference that you get when you start trusting the students and new minds and throw them a challenge and say, okay, now you solve it. And they do an amazing job. Really amazing job. In fact, I will say what students learn in just those 36 hours is probably more than what they learn in a 1 year of academic education.
My God. So, yeah, please go ahead.
And it's becoming a brand. Today, if a company goes to a college and looks at the resume and they see a SIH finalist on a student's resume, I'm sure that guy gets picked up first. We are doing it in the industry. We are talking to companies, and private companies are really looking at those kind of, and that is becoming an entirely different story. Instead of going to just Mumbai and Delhi, and you are going to rural colleges and picking up talent from there. How do you identify talent at those areas? SIH is becoming a biggest talent hunt now.
Yes. I started by asking you precisely, that's why that the whole talent revolution, and continuing with you just a bit more on, the experience, if you just share some insights, some cases. You started, as you just mentioned, you started as a mentor, and now you are, heading or manning one full-fledged nodal branch. what is the kind of response from the lens of these students who are part of it, who are aspiring to be part of it, and who are watching all this from a distance?
No, let's take my recent example. I was in Chandigarh University, and the students were coming from Odisha, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chennai. It's like a micro a sample of India at every center, and there are 75 such centers. So you can imagine the kind of ideas getting thrown out. I'm sure in few years you will see some startups which will go and say we met in SH.
Oh,
And maybe one of the guys from Chennai and other is coming from Mumbai, and they are creating a startup in Delhi. Those kind of things you are going to see in next few years.
yes. You know that line, I've made it to SIH. You know, that's, I think that in itself sends a very strong message. Shubhamal, you are smiling.
Yeah, I think,
So it's like brand SIH.
you just stole my words. I just wanted to say that it is brand SIH, and
Okay.
all these participants, they now have a sense of empowerment and happiness, that they are part of a certain project as part of a larger out of the box thinking program ecosystem that is being done here. As Mr. Bidi had mentioned about that particular, radio handset program. Now, the fact that multimedia and in an encrypted form they are able to display on what all along has been the voice transmission that has happened. Now, this is tremendous requirement for our paramilitary forces as well as the armed forces. The way to communicate securely, as the Prime Minister had asked them in the question about how will that be also applicable in the border areas, and they replied yes, because they are putting the local encryption also into that. Now, for these people at that age to think of so many of the parameters including security, this itself is a very, very inspiring kind of a story, and that is what the national education policy also, the new education policy tries to look at, getting the youths to be able to
Yes.
look much beyond only the curriculum. They should be able to grasp some problems, solve them, make themselves more useful to what the society requires.
This big leap, Dr. Sanup, the whole out of the textbook concept, we've gone beyond the whole NEP and SIH, the roadmap that Prime Minister also talked about, this being the an integral part of the new education policy.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But I would really like to add one more line on
Sure.
the earlier topic which you're discussing. See, I take this as a new festival in India. I mean, a lot of students, mentors, the nodal centers, everybody waits for this event to happen. And the kind of energy getting exhibited during the session is amazing. I always talk about the people from the industry who are contributing will be 5+, rather 5 years younger when they meet these young minds. So this has become a festival altogether. But coming back to the second point that Jashu mentioned, I think look at the education policies that have been laid out by most of these colleges through NEPs and the AICT platforms. They are targeted towards the market need, the industry needs, especially the program which we call as an internship. I think with the help of AICT's curriculum, there are a lot of credits been given these days for the internship programs for the students. I think students take that very, very seriously. Most of these companies are looking out for the interns with young minds, come and give them a proof of concept for few of the risks that they're carrying in their projects during this 6 months period, 8 months period, and students do amazing job. So this education policy, along with the framework been laid down by AICT, along with the strategy that been decided for this particular outcome of coming together, I think this makes very, very wonderful sense of collaboration of these all things together and give a best out of it. That's what I can say.
Yes, and Mr. Bide, since Dr. Sanup talked about collaboration, the Prime Minister has spoken about it specifically, also saying that the collaboration between students, governments and private organization is essential for building. So the new template of getting everyone on board, especially in this particular vertical where we talk about SIH, it's young India taking the lead, because these are our future leaders in their respective domains, specifically because we are talking about IT and innovation and artificial intelligence, etc.
Yes. See, the collaboration starts from, in this case, SIH, I will say it's a collaboration from big scale to small scale. At big scale, we are talking about organizations like AWS, Shell are sponsoring this event. Government organizations are giving the problem statements. Colleges and students are coming together to solve those problem statements. That is a big level of collaboration. But at the small level, when you are in that 36 hours, there is a collaboration between mentors, there is a collaboration between students, there is a collaboration sometimes across teams as a friendship and advices. I have seen mentors of one team helping solving problems of to another team. So it's a collaboration at that level also. And most importantly, it teaches students that today's world you cannot solve problem alone. You have to work together in your team. You have to talk with the mentors. You have to talk with industry experts. And interestingly, in this year's hackathon, every center we invited product designer experts
Okay.
from industry, and they were going to meet every team, look at the UI, look at the user interface, look at the user experience, look at the product ideas, and they were advising students how they can improve it. So it was essentially like a training for their own software startup, how you can make it into a real life product. So the collaboration is coming from multiple places, and that is why every time you will see a community of SIH alumni getting created, and they are going to help each other. That is the future that I see.
Acceptance of innovation is a profession in society. That's, these lines coming, the very inspiring lines and big takeaways. Shubhamal, coming to you, we are playing out the high points of Prime Minister's address at the event, at the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2022, where Prime Minister has talked about the possibilities from Smart India Hackathon and resolutions that are directly related to youth's career growth. So when we talk about career, Shubhamal, we are talking about the job ecosystem, the market, the opportunities, and where sky is the limit. Because if today you have these students becoming the problem solvers and giving you templates for solutions, this is the tip of an iceberg as far as tomorrow is concerned, your future, nation's future is concerned. Just an idea what we are looking at.
Yeah, in fact, if you see, this is the country that now has 100 unicorns, and these are all young minds in the shortest period of time who have been able to garner that amount of market capitalization, and all of these 100 are in different areas, but usage of technology is the common binding ground. Now, if you look at these young minds today, they are learning many lessons. Number one, they are possibly the future entrepreneurs, as my other panelists would also agree. Number two, the way this has been organized, where the students from different states come together and work together, that culture of collaboration gives them the whole spirit of teamwork. And on top of all of that, the usage of the futuristic technology, I wouldn't say deep learning and everything have remained futuristic, but they are able to apply unsupervised learning. They are able to apply every aspect of deep learning, to say use predictive analysis, recommended system, all of them, and then provide solution. This is what these guys have done this time, as I have seen in the projects. So these are something that is there, one, for them to become entrepreneurs, for industry to take up, build it up further and apply it, and in the whole process you save a lot of cost of the nation in trying to leap forward with technology.
Correct. Leaping forward with technology, gentlemen, I'll have to wrap it up, but I'm going to come to each one of you like for 30-40 seconds closing remarks. Mr. Bire, starting with you now. If you remember, in the Independence Day address, also Prime Minister spoke about in the next 25 years, India has to be on the top. And here again, there's a specific mention of innovative mindset will take India to the top in coming 25 years, and this is the kind of India that we are looking at. Prime Minister says success of these youngsters in next 25 years will decide success of India.
Yeah, as Prime Minister said, the India in next 25 years. Right now we have just 5 SIH. Imagine the kind of ecosystem we'll build with 30 SIH.
Yes.
And each SH in 5 years, we went from 25 centers to 75 centers. In next 25 years, I can definitely see maybe we'll go to 500 centers. And I'm not even able to imagine the scale at which SH will work or SH kind of SH alumni will contribute to nation. Just looking at this one example of innovation.
This is
And
just
there are so many other initiatives with new education policy and things coming up. It's really difficult to even imagine the kind of levels the Indian students and Indian startup ecosystem will go.
Yes. Patents have gone up, startups have gone up, unicorns have gone up, SIH is slowly turning into a brand. It's only 5 years. And yes, your take, Dr. Sanup, final words. At least on this show, but we are going to have more of this in your future.
Sure. I think I'll add 2 lines. SIH has scaled up within itself as well. But look at the junior SIH this year, and you have seen the students that spoke in that event. That means we do not have any doubt in our mind like what India would look like in 25 years. And whatever our vision, our Honorable Prime Minister is looking, I can definitely say that the young mind will bring that as a reality. I don't really want to wait for 25 years. I think might be next time our Prime Minister will say this will happen in next 10 years of time. The kind of energy being shown by the students and these people during this period, I think it is amazing. It's an exponential growth. I would rather wait for our Honorable Prime Minister to come and say next time. I think I was at 25 years of talk, but now I will talk about it 10 years of time. And we are helping other countries also to be getting better along with this as well. India never been an alone, never won hearts of alone, but it's always supportive to all the neighboring countries who were asked help for, right? And I think that vision will come with technology aspects as well. Our people will definitely go and solve the problem of world, not only within India. That will definitely happen in a sooner time.
Fantastic.
That I completely agree with. SIH is working with next level like Singapore India Hackathon, and we are going global, not just India.
Fantastic.
I think it will become Smart World Hackathon rather than Smart India Hackathon.
Oh, brilliant. And I think, we have tomorrow's headline coming. We started Shubhamal, SIH being a brand, then SIH a national event, slowly becoming a global brand, like Mr. Bhire said, SIH global brand, SIH World Hackathon, something like that. So it's only moving from strength to strength. And like Dr. Sanup, who has been associated with the whole event initiative right from the inception, says that we don't have to wait for 25 years if this is the pace and the momentum we continue to move ahead with SIH.
I think it's a culture of collaborative working together, and that's where we shorten the time of technology incubation and more usage of more technology into that whole innovation ecosystem. And that is where as the Prime Minister has said a few times that India should be a hub of technology that is able to solve much more problems of this world. Cyber security is one area that he has specifically mentioned, and all these last 30 years we have seen on the software front how much we have gone forward. I think the next 25 years it is with innovation to solve a lot of the program. That is where this country will be useful to the world, and that's where our young minds getting motivated, getting focused, getting oriented, being brought into the system, taking pride in what they are doing as a as an opportunity that has been provided. I think this is where we see a very, very strong future for innovation.
Undoubtedly. On that positive note, many thanks Mr. Bhire, also Dr. Sanup, and also Shubhamal Bhattacharjee, all of you for joining us. And just quickly quoting Honorable Prime Minister again when he says that success of youngsters in next 25 years will decide success of India, and it is the innovative mindset that will take India to the top in coming 25 years. Massive aspirational society in India is developing and India is expanding. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of DD Dialogue, where we talked about Smart India Hackathon 2022, and we looked back at the journey since its inception in 2017, Decoding Hackathon 2022. Thank you very much for tuning into DD India. Namaskar.